Hi, I'm Megan Slater, and this is the third in a series of videos to help us better understand ADHD. We're going to talk today about how ADHD people usually have an impaired sense of time and how that affects their life, whether they're children or adults. Usually, ADHD people don't judge the passage of time accurately. So if they're doing something that they like to do, that they really enjoy, time will go by very quickly. If they're playing with a game or they're doing an art project or talking with someone that they like, time just seems to fly by. But if they're doing something that they don't like to do, then time drags. It just creeps along and it takes forever, like waiting in a line at a store or even waiting for something that they want to do. It takes forever. And so as we're talking to parents, usually the thing that comes up the most often is homework issues. The child doesn't want to do homework. Homework after school is kind of the bane of their existence. They don't want to start it. They put it off. They avoid it because the idea of it is that it's going to take way too long today. The biggest problem with homework is that usually we'll try to avoid it. The child avoids it even as an adult. If there's a project that we don't want to do, we're going to put it off until the last minute because the idea of it is that it's going to take way too long to do. And saying to this child, if you had just started this a half an hour ago, instead of whining about it, you'd be done by now. It's not going to help them learn how to do it any better. So the things that we need to do to help out with homework time or project time is going to be creating an incentive for them. Even creating an incentive for an adult would be, this is a movie that you can see as soon as this project is done. If you study for 15 minutes, then you can do this. Even breaking it up with a physical activity. I know, we're going to do our math homework, then we're going to go and play basketball and come back and do the English paper. Giving them a break after school so that they're not going straight from school into homework. So when you get home from school, we'll have a snack and then you can go play. And then after dinner, when it's quiet and it's right about time for bed, maybe we'll work on your reading assignment. What we found is that positive incentives often work better than a negative consequence in helping to train the brain and helping them to learn a new style. Also going along with time management, ADD people tend to lose track of time. And this goes along with what we talked about before. But because of this, they often get caught up in what they're doing and they forget what time it is, which causes them to often be late. Also, because they don't plan ahead very well, they're going to be late really often. This is the person that has a hard time planning ahead to make sure I bring this and this and this, and then along the way they lose one of those things, and so as they're rushing out the door, they're trying to find the thing that they lost, and then they get late. Or else they wake up late, because as we talked in the video number 2, that they have a hard time sleeping, and so often they're going to wake up late, they're running late, they didn't plan the appropriate amount of time it was going to take to finish this project. That poor estimating of time is going to make them late. They often have a hard time with long-term projects because they're not the person that's going to work on them continually until it gets done, a little bit at a time. They're the person that's going to put it off until the last minute and in a rush of adrenaline, try and finish it the night before. And the problem with that is it trains their brain to do that because the rush of adrenaline helps them focus. And so they think, I'll just do this again next time. No big deal. We can help them. We can help them by teaching them how to use some kind of reminder, like a calendar or a planner or sticky notes or some kind of color coding system. And the important thing is to help them know that they may have to try a couple different things before they find the thing that works for them. Sometimes something that seems like a great idea for one person won't work for another person. So telling them it's okay if we need to experiment until we find a system that works for you. So this kind of brings up a deeper issue. This brings up something that's a little bit more than just time management. How does this affect relationships? Aside from the fact that the people around them are going to be continually irritated, that they're late or forgetful or putting things off or constantly having to be reminded, there's something deeper that happens in families with people that have ADHD. And you have to remember that in the first video we talked about how ADHD tends to run in families, so it's likely that more than one person in the family is going to have it. One of the parents is going to have it, or else a sibling or a grandparent. And so it's important to understand how this matter of time interpretation can affect a family. When someone with ADHD doesn't want to wait for something, they're going to get very impatient, which creates anger. It creates frustration. It creates irritability. We see this a lot with children and teenagers. But how would that then affect a parent? A parent who may have ADHD and they want something to get done right now. You're not doing what I asked you to do fast enough. You didn't do it the first time I asked you. So that parent would be likely to get frustrated easily. It's important to keep that in mind. How would this work with a relationship with an ADHD person and a spouse? Because of the poor time management, because of the poor sense of time, you're going to hear phrases like "you always" or "you never" or "how come this always happens." We have to be careful about those kind of phrases when we're working with our families. You're going to hear this from the kids too, because they don't understand the interpretation of time. They're going to say nobody, everybody, every time, never. And so when you're hearing those kind of phrases, it's important to stop and take a look at what's really happening. Maybe do a little bit of a check and say, really, is it really never? Or do you feel like it's never? Or do you feel like everyone? Or is it maybe just some people? So it's important for us to use that in a therapeutic sense with the families that we work with. Thanks for watching.